It's standard practice in the solar industry to oversize your panel array by up to 130% compared to your inverter's rating. The logic holds that during peak sunlight hours, the inverter will simply take the maximum power it can handle, and it safely rejects or clips the rest. Yet systems built exactly to this math frequently experience premature shutdowns, severe thermal stress, and permanent hardware failure. Your inverter does not fail from having too much power available. It fails from being forced to process too much current. On the left, we see maximum power, a wattage capacity that an inverter can easily manage when full. On the right is short circuit current, or ISC, a rigid pipeline limit that dictates the physical volume of electrons forced into the system. When you size an array looking only at the total watts, you create a blind spot that directly threatens the internal hardware. Let's look at a standard real-world setup built around a typical 5-kilowatt inverter. Following the widely accepted industry rule, we calculate the maximum allowed array size by scaling the inverter capacity up to 130%. As this calculation shows, multiplying 5,000 watts by 1.3 gives us a maximum array limit of 6,500 watts. To build out that array, we select standard 550-watt solar panels. Dividing our 6,500 watt maximum by 550 watts tells us we need roughly 12 panels for this system. If we check the manufacturer's spec sheet for those panels, we find they produce a short circuit current of 13.5 amps. On a spreadsheet, a 12-panel, 6,500 watt array fits the sizing rules perfectly. It appears fully optimized and ready for installation. The mechanical problem begins when we take that total wattage capacity and translate it into a physical wiring configuration. When connecting solar panels in series, daisy chaining them positive to negative, the voltage of each panel adds up, but the total current passing through the string remains identical to a single panel. This schematic shows how we manage the voltage for a 12-panel array. We split the panels into two distinct strings. 6 panels are wired in series for the first string, and 6 in series for the second, with both lines meeting at a central combiner box. Because they are wired in series, the current traveling through each individual string is locked at the baseline 13.5 amps. But at the combiner box, those two strings are joined in parallel. The rule of electrical circuits reverses here. Parallel connections maintain the same voltage, but the current of the inputs adds together. We take the 13.5 amps from string 1 and add it to the 13.5 amps from string 2. This creates a new combined output of 27 amps flowing directly toward the inverter. The total wattage of the array hasn't changed, but by wiring the system in parallel to accommodate the panel count, the physical volume of electrons hitting the inverter has exactly doubled. Even at 27 amps, we aren't seeing the true maximum stress on the system. Electrical design requires accounting for environmental spikes, which means applying a mandatory 1.25 safety factor to our calculations. This safety margin accounts for phenomena like the cloud edge effect. When clouds pass over the sun, sunlight reflects off water vapor, focusing intense bursts of irradiance onto the panels, exceeding standard testing conditions. To find the true peak limit, this equation multiplies our 27 amp system total by the 1.25 safety factor, bringing the final design current to 33.75 amps. This 33.75 amps value is the worst case scenario. It is the absolute highest current the physical array will push during a surge. Every inverter has a strict maximum power point tracking limit, the maximum input current the internal hardware is rated to accept. For a typical 5-kilowatt inverter, this MPPT limit is often hard-capped at 30 amps. When we compare our 33.75 amp design current against that rigid 30 amp hardware threshold, the system fails the safety check. When an inverter detects too much total power, it protects itself by adjusting its internal resistance to raise the voltage, efficiently rejecting the excess watts. But an inverter cannot alter its resistance to block current. When panels are wired in parallel, they push that volume of electrons straight into the circuit, and the hardware must absorb it. Exceeding the current limit forces the components into severe internal resistance, turning those excess electrons into heat that melts traces and degrades the hardware. The builder followed the 130% wattage rule to the letter, but mathematically engineered a thermal overload. The 130% overpaneling rule is conditional. It is mathematically invalid unless you verify the parallel current. Adding an extra string of panels in parallel might seem like a quick way to hit your wattage goals, but doing so without recalculating the short circuit current is a critical design error. This blueprint outlines the 3 mandatory criteria for safe solar design. Wattage is secondary to these hard electrical limits. First, your open circuit voltage must never exceed the inverter's maximum input voltage under any temperature condition. Second, your total design current must strictly remain below the MPPT maximum current rating. Third, all physical wiring, combiner boxes, and fuses must be properly sized to handle that new total design current. If you expand your array in parallel, you must apply the 1.25 safety factor to the new current total before finalizing the equipment. In electrical engineering, excess current creates heat, and heat dictates the lifespan of your equipment. True overpaneling is about maximizing energy capture while operating completely within invisible limits. If you ignore current, your inverter just becomes an expensive fuse.